they're going to talk about the difference between Barack Obama and George Bush. We even have to have this conversation. But I skipped the first three. I'm interested in difference number 4, because there's 2 really important points to be made about the media here in this regard. Chris Matthews is going to start it off, and then he's going to kick it to some of the other people on his panel on his show. Let's watch.
And the final difference, intellectual curiosity. Here was Colin Powell explaining endorsement of Obama.
Senator Obama has demonstrated the kind of calm, patient, intellectual, steady approach to problem solving that I think we need in this country.
And here's Bob Woodward on 60 Minutes back in 2004 talking about President Bush.
He is not an intellectual. He is not what I guess would be called a deep thinker. I think he feels there is an intellectual world, and he has indicated he's not a part of it.
Bob, he obviously relies a lot on instinct and is proud of that fact. Is that why he shows little intellectual curiosity about other people's thinking?
I think he's impatient. I think my summation, he doesn't like homework. And homework means reading or getting briefed or having a debate. And part of the presidency, part of governing, particularly in this area, is homework, homework, homework.
And Obama?
Obama is the opposite. He mainlines homework. He does, where is extra credit? And now he's got to make some decisions, and you can't be, somebody like Bill Clinton was at times, where you just sit and decide, undecide, redecide, and then finally decide.
So curiosity and discipline together for Obama. Is that why people like yourself, well-educated, 4-year college people at least, really went for the guy, people in the burbs?
Well, I think there's an appreciation of his intellectual curiosity. I think there's an appreciation of the fact that he reaches out, that this is somebody who doesn't just trust his gut, which is, I think, what George W. Bush has always done. Sure, Obama has a gut, but he also understands that he's kind of the new kid on the block, and there are lots of people with a lot more experience in different areas, and he needs to talk to them, which is what he's doing.
David, what do you see coming?
There's a premium right now on problem solving. And I think that when people think of Barack Obama, they think about a keen intellect and a kind of intellectual dexterity that will allow him to apply that rigor to problem solving, namely the economy. What George Bush relied on, particularly after 9/11, was a sense of moral clarity and instinct and being able to reflect the tone of the country. That was his greatest strength at that particular point, and later became some of his undoing.
All right, these people are the worst. Now, I'm going to explain why, right? We got this clip from Crooks and Liars. Nicole Bell wrote about it, crooksandliars.com, right? And she said, oh, now they tell us he's stupid, right? They couldn't tell us this 4 years ago when it mattered, especially during the 2004 election. Where was this talk of lack of intellectual curiosity back then? Well, Nicole, you have it half right, but you're missing the other half. The other half is, I know the answer. You posed the exact right question, but here's the answer. The answer is because they're kiss asses. When Bush was in power, they were like, oh, what a great guy, and strong, and makes decisive decisions, and he's just like the regular guy, and he's on his ranch, and he goes with his gut and moral clarity, as David Gregory alluded to there at the end, right? But now he's unpopular, and he has no power left because he's leaving office. Now Barack Obama has the power. So what do these guys do? You think they've grown in wisdom or courage, these pundits? No. They've just turned to the next ass to kiss. You see what I'm saying? Because their whole job is to suck up the power. It's not to challenge power. Now Obama's the new power. So they're like, oh, what wonderful intellectual curiosity. It turns out that if you're the president, you have to do a lot of homework. It turns out, now David Gregory tells us, a keen intellect is what people are looking for. Really? We weren't looking for a keen intellect earlier? We were looking for dummies? No, you told us that we should elect dummies because you were kissing up to power back then. These people are the ones that drive our country into the ground because their interest is not you. Their interest is not in trying to figure out what the truth is or the facts are. Their interest is in keeping their own power. And they perceive the way you do that in the national media is that you kiss up to the politicians in power. So they come on your shows, so you're considered mainstream, and that's the way it works. That's the riddle that has been solved here. if it ever was a riddle. And by the way, Woodward said exactly what I've been saying all along, which is Bush does not like to do homework. How many times have you heard me say that on the show, right? But now, as Bush is leaving out of the office, he says, oh, by the way, I'll tell you what the truth is. The truth is he doesn't like to do homework. Well, as Nicole said, we could have used that truth a little earlier. But even now, look at what David Gregory says. You know, well, on the downside, Bush lacks intellectual curiosity. It's code word for he's an idiot, right? But now, he can't tell you that, because that wouldn't be mainstream. He has to soft pedal it so that, you know, it's okay to say, because otherwise you're too harsh, right? But he has moral clarity. No, he doesn't. The Iraq War was deeply immoral. Hundreds of thousands of civilians were killed based on absolute lies. They cooked the intelligence. We now have the evidence. That jury is in. But nonetheless, the mainstream media is still talking about moral clarity for George W. Bush, the guy who instituted torture. At the same breath, they'll turn around and say, Obama says he's going to stop torture and he's going to bring America back because they want to kiss up to him, right? So how about the guy who started torture and ruined America's reputation? Why are you still talking about his moral clarity? Because no matter what, they've got to spin it so that it's not too harsh. We can't tell you the real truth. We have to sugarcoat it and say, well, on the one hand, Bush lacked intellectual curiosity. On the other hand, what a moral guy. But David Gregory, he knows that's not the truth. But his job is not to bring you the truth. His job is to bring you lukewarm neutrality so he can stay on TV. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the way it works. That's how this system is built. Can we change it? I hope so. We aim to, but we're nowhere near it right now.